All right. Welcome back to another video, guys. This video we're gonna be reacting to How to Think Clearly by damn, what's this called? By Freedom and Thought, the channel Freedom and Thought. I haven't heard of that channel, but I saw this video on the homepage of my other YouTube account, and it looked like a great video to react to. I think it could contain a lot of good information. But I think one of the reasons why I was compelled to react to it is because I couldn't really discern. I heard the name Marcus, if I'm pronouncing it right, Marcus Aurelius. I've heard that name, but I haven't read or done too much research about it. But the title of How to Think Clearly kind of jumped out to me because I'm I believe myself to be apt at being able to think clearly when giving conscious effort to a specific idea or a specific topic, but usually on a in a general sense, on a day-to-day basis, not day-to-day, like more so time-to-time basis, I have looming thoughts which I don't really think too much about. I could make the conscious effort to dive into the rabbit hole, but there's a lot of thoughts in which come and go throughout my day when I'm not really thinking too much about anything in specifically, where I'm more so going about my day to day tasks, and these thoughts come and go and pop up. But maybe this will, I guess, give law or help being able to be more conscious of one's thought or be more aware of one's thinking habit. So let's jump right into it, man.
Almost everyone thinks they are a good thinker, but in reality, few people really are.
Okay, yeah,
A
no.
truly great thinker is constantly growing and evolving. So take a look around you. How many people do you see moving forward in life? How many people do you see solving problem after problem? And on the contrary, how many people do you see running in circles?
Not this. Yeah,
How
okay.
many people do you see still trying to solve the same problems they were working on years ago? The better you get at thinking, the better you get at solving problems.
Let me turn my phone
And good
silent.
thinking begins with clarity. A clear thought is unambiguous, captures the essence of a thing, and is formulated logically. A clear thought can be communicated through a simple if then statement. For example, if you turn on the tap, then you can get water. A clear thought leads to clear and intentional action. For example, the statement, if you turn on the tap, then you can get water, leads to clear action when you're thirsty.
Yeah.
And clear and intentional action leads to clear feedback. When you go to
Okay. I might have lied a little bit in the beginning, but it became clear to me once I furthered into the video. But I often like, how do I say? I often like play out hypotheticals in my head, but these hypotheticals are very much possible, at least in my reality, in the way I go through my life. And I have this thing I refer to. People usually have a emotional reaction to situations when they come up, but I tend to have. I guess I train myself in a sense, or I made myself to be like when I do have an emotional reaction when something does, spark a change in emotion or uprise in emotion. I then have uh, I guess, a conscious reaction where I then have I put intent thoughts into why I was having that emotional reaction or why that emotion came up, and I try to look at a situation from a very logical standpoint and try to break down what happened here, what happened there, and come to a conclusion, a fair conclusion, because I have a very just and moral identity, I guess you would call it. But yeah, that's very interesting how they were saying, the if and then. I do that a lot of times, like I said, with the hypotheticals. But yeah,
water, you will immediately find find out whether your original thought was true or not. Either water will come out or it won't.
Yeah.
And because clear feedback proves or disproves your thought, it helps improve your understanding of the world. Either you'll find out that your understanding of the world is correct or incorrect, and finding out you are incorrect helps you move closer towards correctness. And the more correct your worldview is, the better you'll be at solving problems. Let's take a look at an example.
Okay.
Marcus Aurelius earned the titles of the last of the five good emperors of Rome and philosopher king by becoming a great leader. And he became a great leader by becoming a great thinker.
I
And
can
he
see. I can
became
see.
a great thinker by learning to think clearly. And he learned to think clearly by writing a private philosophy for himself, which we now refer to as his meditations. In his meditations, Aurelius organizes his thoughts in a logical way, reflecting on the relationship between his actions and their effects.
That's crazy. I had a conversation with a friend relatively recently, but we have our differences when it comes to religion and when it comes to I guess how well, not differences between us, but we have a similar way of thinking in our approach to religion. But uh, I had an idea that I brought to her, and it was kind of, we were laughing about it at the time. But what if there was like I think the Yoruba religion does this to an extent. I think it's not individual. I was gonna say the whatchamacallit, my friend and I were discussing about having personal Bibles. Like we write our own rule book for which how an individual or how the individual, it would, in this case it would be me, in her case it would be her, but should carry out their life because each reality is different from the next person. And so the things of which I do and the things which may be good for me might not be, good for the next person in line. And so that's very interesting what think Marcus did here. What Marcus did here. Marcus or Elias. But what I was saying, I think the Yoruba, which is if I remember correctly, it's a Nigerian based religion. Should I say Nigerian based? Is that the right way to say it? But it's a religion founded in Nigeria, and they do something similar to that, but it's for each. I forgot, around the age of, I think 12. It is the individual uh goes through this whole process, which they essentially becoming a woman or becoming a man, if I remember correctly, if that's what it is. And then at the end, they receive this Bible, well, not Bible, but this book of law for the individual, and there's certain rules in it for the child, not the child anymore, the newly man or the newly woman has to follow in order to live the best life possible. And so I think that's what Marcus or Aurelius did here. But that's very interesting.
And if you want to think clearly and improve your ability to solve your own problems, it would be wise of you to do the same. Organize your thoughts,
Yeah.
reduce their ambiguity, and make them clear by turning them into simple if then statements. Clear logic leads to clear thoughts. Clear thoughts lead to clear and intentional action. Clear and intentional action leads to clear feedback. Clear feedback leads to an improved understanding of the world. And a clearer understanding of the world leads to a better ability to solve problems. For example, let me formulate a clear, logical thought. If I publish a how-to video with a philosopher in the title, then it will get over 100,000 views. That's a clear thought with clear logic. That clear thought
Maybe I should
leads
put
to
that in
clear
my title.
action. I will write that video and publish it. Now, when this video is published, I'll get clear feedback. We'll both find out if that thought is true. And once I find out whether that thought is true or false, my understanding of the world will improve. And by improving my understanding of the world, I'll be better equipped to solve my problem of being a successful YouTuber.
Is that just
So, to
manifestation?
conclude, good thinking begins with clear
Oh
thinking.
well. Oh. That could just be the philosophy of manifestation, of essentially having clear thought and clear intentions about what you want in life, and then eventually working towards that. Physically putting work to get towards that, but that attitude, that viewpoint in which you now have makes that work more so play now. If you have clear intentions about what you want, doing anything to get that won't be seen as work anymore. It'll be seen as simply, part of the journey, part of the process. And I think that aligns exactly with what this YouTube video is saying is about philosophy, not philosophy, but the philosophy of Marcus and how to think clearly. So yeah,
And clear thinking begins by turning your thoughts into unambiguous,
let's go
logical
statements.
statements. And if you're looking for a practical way to improve your logical thinking skills, I recommend checking out this week's sponsor, Brilliant. Through their logic course, Brilliant
All right.
actually helped me become a better
Um,
thinker. And by becoming a better thinker,
is this the end of the
it helped me
video?
become a better writer. Truth telling is the basis of good writing. And to be able to distinguish true statements from false ones in their logic method,
Are you serious, dude?
you'll visit your contents.org/.
I think that's the end of the video. Let me see. Yeah, that's the end of the video. All right, that was a great video, and I think it contained a lot of information. Hopefully, you learned something or you picked up on something which you can apply to your own life. And if you have any thoughts, please do leave a comment below. But I think one thing I want to say, it was saying that I think somewhere along here about, you know, the steps. If you have, clear logic, you can move to clear thoughts, and essentially. But I think uh, uh um one idea that might object to this philosophy is the idea that not everything's black and white, and so it might be very hard. It might be very hard. It might not be as easy to get to a clear, concise conclusion. Uh, when you start, figuring out, or when you start configuring with some of these thoughts, and you try to play it out in your mind, or you try to write it out, or confer with another individual, you end up, a lot of the conversations I have with myself or with other individuals don't really end up in a conclusion. I think these topics, or these philosophical, what you call it, I don't want to refer to them as truths, but these philosophical conceptions are arbitrary and ambiguous, actually. So it's very hard to get to a final idea or a final standpoint which you could like stand upon and say this is facts, this is true. You know, because someone else might come along and completely, their reality and their experience in which they went through might completely shatter your beliefs or your thought process, or what you thought had to be true for every human, and they just don't fit into it. So what do you do about that other individual's experience? So yeah, uh there's a lot to be said here. Please join in the comments and conversation. I'll be coming back to this video to reply to comments, whoever might have commented at the time. But yeah, make sure to leave a like. What else to say? Leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and all that good stuff. But before you do any of that, I would say leave a comment, because that's the one important thing to me. Because I want to engage in conversation. So please leave it a comment, my friend. Thank you.
Common thought.
Oh wait, no,
Click
no. How do I get out of here? Yeah.